Now, right here in Living Color, live on set, we have Liz Peek, syndicated columnist and Fox News contributor, and Deroy Murdock, senior fellow at the London Center for Policy Research and also a Fox News contributor. What does this oil thing do? I want to go to Deroy first. Deroy, this is a basic necessity, okay, including the fertilizer, food part, right? These are all kitchen table issues. What does this do to the race? What does this do to the presidential race, which appears to be Trump versus Biden? Let's just assume that for one moment.
Sure. Joe Biden seems to be trapped in a spiral of self-destruction. The easiest way for him to get away from this inflation problem is say, you know what, we're going to drill, we're going to bring down oil prices, inflation will follow, and the inflationary heat gets off his back. Instead, just yesterday, he was in New Mexico saying, okay, let's block off these thousands of acres. No more drilling there. He just last week said no more drilling in Alaska. That's been pushing up oil prices, which were about $70 a barrel a month ago. Now they're pushing 95. Up will go inflation. And this is all based on this religion that oil is evil. Well, if oil is evil, you know, there goes your skateboard, there goes your backpack, there goes syringes, there goes your shower curtain. It's not just about driving electric vehicles or gas vehicles. We have oil in everything. He's fighting that, and that's really putting himself in really bad shape for next year.
I got my list of at least 200 items. I'm not going to bore you. I'm not going to waste our time and go through it. You can dial up the riff that I started the show with. And Liz Peek, with all this happening, here comes the UAW. I may not agree with everything they want, but they've been clobbered by increasing prices, not just the last 2 years, but they haven't had a COLA adjustment going back to the crisis of 2008, 2009, when Uncle Sam bailed out the auto companies, not Ford, but they bailed out Chrysler and Fiat and Stellantis and GM. So, I mean, here comes the UAW. What does this do to the presidential race?
I think this is a big problem for Jay Powell and for Joe Biden. Joe Biden obviously is in a real ticklish position here because it's his EV mandates that has meant the UAW is sort of angry about the potential dwindling membership in the out years, and I think they're totally right to be worried about that. And in fact, that's why they don't want Biden involved in the negotiations. I mean, they've come out and said, we don't want your help, which is pretty stunning for a president who's been very happy to weigh in on this. But Jay Powell has to deal with rising oil prices. That's completely right. And now I think also hundreds of thousands of people striking and going for big raises in the U.S. I mean, no one's really talking about wages in general going up because the average hourly earnings have been going down or not rising that fast. But I think that's because you've had a flood of people into hospitality and low-paying jobs. I think right now there are tens of thousands of Kaiser Permanente employees who have voted to strike at the end of the month. If they don't get a big whopping raise, the UPS obviously handed out substantial increases in pay when they settled about 3 weeks ago, I think, or 4 weeks ago. This is not the end of it. The UAW is sort of the top of the heap right now, top of the mind. But the truth is, union labor across the country is looking at the UPS, at the pilots union and UAW and saying, we want ours. And they look at the inflation for the last 2 years. I mean, Larry, 5 years ago when these contracts were written, no one expected 8% inflation, 5% inflation, which is what we had the last 2 years.
Did you know DJ Norquist, who used to work at the CEA in the Trump years, was emailing me today. Over 20% of the new jobs in the past year have been government-related
Government jobs. Is
but
that something?
You were saying if you add on health care, isn't that mostly government-related jobs, health care?
No, I don't think so. Kaiser Permanente is not health government jobs. The additions to government, I'm assuming
that
is
Medicare, Medicaid, that
and teachers and all the things. A lot of teachers were laid off during the COVID period, so I'm assuming it's that. But I think that's worth looking into. That's not healthy for our economy, by the way. That's such a big slug of new hires. That's basically unproductive work, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I mean, I think that's concerning, but I think, again, what Jay Powell's going to have to deal with is he's looking at all these big raises and saying, okay, that's not what my 2% target looks like. And I think Kevin's right. I think he's behind the curve. I hate the idea that we're going to pause again and then start raising rates again.
I know. How
that
silly.
just seems horrible to me. Let's get this over with. Let's, do what you have to do.
If you're going to hit a backhand, you have to hit a backhand. You can't keep
exactly
running.
Right.
You can't keep running around your backhand.
That's right.
Deroy, we were
That's
just
good.
talking about how Trump's going out to, I don't know, rally or talk to the UAW rank and file, maybe give a speech. Biden is now pulled back in sheer terror and panic, I suppose. But you wrote a piece for the Daily Caller where you suggested that Mr. Trump should also rally in black communities. We don't have a lot of time, but could you just give us a thought on that?
Yeah, just briefly.
Please?
Look, he ought to hold his MAGA rallies in black neighborhoods. We've seen an increase in support for Republicans among black folks. It's up to about 20% of blacks saying, hey, we may vote for Trump. He ought to go to black neighborhoods. I think the left will freak out. They won't know what to do. Their heads will explode. All the more reason for him to go and rally black voters behind his cause.
Wow. Liz Peek, Deroy Murdock, thank you, kids. Appreciate
Thank
it
you.
very, very much.
Thanks.